Daf Yomi, Tractate Menachot, page 37a, top of the page. We were discussing the right hand, left hand. Have you know from the verse what right hand is called in the verses? Like if there's just someone's hand, like plain, just someone's hand, it's referring to left hand, and then Yamin, which literally means right, is in several verses it was proved that means the right hand, and it differentiated. And so now that's where we're holding now. So the top of 37 says, Rabbi Yossi Achorem Omer. Rabbi Yossi Achorem, I don't remember seeing him ever. Yossi Achorem. Gotta check that out. Rabbi Yossi Achorem Omer Matzinu Yamin Shinekra Yad Shneim Aviyah Yosef Yoshi Aviv Yad Yamino Vidach Yad Yamino Yikri Yad Sutama Lo Yikri. Rabbi Yossi Achorem says this is no proof, as we have found that the right hand is also called Yad. We were saying it was in several verses before. Just to give you the examples, it was saying like there's one verse that said, my hand has laid the foundation of the earth, my right hand has spread out the heavens. So it's inferred from there that hand is left hand and right hand is the right hand. If it's just plain hand, it's left. And another verse said that. So the first one, this is Hashem talking, but this other one is talking about Yael, the wife of Hever Hakeni, who when she killed Sisera, she it says her hand she put to the tent pin, and her right hand to the workman's hammer. So she held the tent pin with her left hand, and then her right hand she slammed his brains in. And another verse said, "Why do you withdraw your hand, even your right hand?" That's in Psalms 14. It's David talking to Menachot. So your right hand, even your right hand. Okay, so then Rabbi Yossi Achorem says that that's no proof because there's a verse where, in the case where Jacob was blessing his sons, it says his right hand, and didn't mention anything about left hand, just his right hand, mentions right hand right away. So what's going on with that? So the Gemara asks, and the other Tana who maintains that the right hand is not called Yad, how does he respond to this proof? He maintains the right hand is called right hand, but is not called the Yad without further specification. But it is not called a Yad without further. I'm not sure what the answer is here. But anyway, let's continue. Rabbi Nassan Omer. אינו צורך עלי אומר, כשעתו כסרתם מקשו בימין, אף כשיר בימין, וכיוון לקשירה בימין, אנחנו בשמאל היא, רבי יוסי חוירם, אנחנו בשמאל בנעלי, דווקא להם יחד, דווקא להם, Rabbi Nassan. Rabbi Natan says, this proof is not necessary as it says, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your arm, Deuteronomy 6:8. Then it states, and you shall write them upon the doorposts of your house, Deuteronomy 6:9. This teaches that just as writing is with the right hand, as most people write with their right hand, so too the binding of the phylacteries must be performed with the right hand. And since binding is with the right hand, this means that donning is on the left arm, as one cannot bind the phylacteries with the same hand upon which he is donning them. The Gemara asks, and from where does Rabbi Yossi HaChoirem, who holds that the right hand is also called Yad in the Torah, derive that donning phylacteries is on the left arm? Where answers, he derives it from where Rabbi Natan derives it. Rabbi Ashiyam miyad yadcha. Ksiv behe yadcha. It says yadcha. It could have been written without the hey. It could have been yad dal chaf, like yadecha. It's the same. Why does it go yadcha with a hey at the end? In order to extrapolate keha. Yad keha. Keha means weak. Behe keha. Yad keha yadecha. Amar le Rabashi ema yadecha shebekayach. Amar le miksiv bechet. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Rabashi said the requirement that phylacteries be done on the left arm is derived from the verse, "It shall be for a sign upon your arm," Yadcha, Exodus 13:16, which is written with the letter He at the end. This is expounded as though it stated your weak arm, Yad Keha. Rabbi Abba says Rabashi, but one can say that Yadcha could be interpreted as Yad Koach, with a letter Chet at the end instead of a He. If so, this would mean your arm is of strength, which is the right arm. Rabashi said to Rabbi, is this word written with a Chet? So he wants to be medactic and say it's a chaf. It's not a chet, even though it's a ch sound. But koach, yad, ya. I'm not sure how he gets that. Koach. Anyway. Ketana yadcha v'hei zusmoid. Achayim oivrim yadcha l'chabri says hagidam. Tanya idach ino yizoroya patur ben tefillin. Achayim oivrim yadcha l'chabri says hagidam. The Gemara notes in Ravashi's opinion that the halacha, the phylacteries are donned on left arms derived from the term yadcha is subject to a dispute between Tanaim, as it taught in a bright. Yadcha is written with a hey, indicating weakness, and this is referring to the left arm. Others say your arm, yadcha, serves to include one without a complete arm, meaning one whose arm ends at the elbow. In the obligation to don phylacteries, as the remaining part is also categorized as a right arm. As we go, it is taught in another bride if one does not have a left arm, meaning not even above the elbow, he is exempt from the mitzvah of phylacteries. Others say yadcha serves to include one without a left arm, even above the elbow, teaching that he must don phylacteries on his right arm. Tanu Rabbanan. Iter meniach tefillin b'yamino, shu smoiloi, v'tanya meniach b'smoilo, shu smoiloi shekol adam. Amar Abaye ki tana ha'i b'shoy nedir v'shtei adam. The sages taught in Brayta, a left-handed person dons phylacteries on his right arm, which is equivalent to his left arm, meaning his weaker arm. The Gemara raises a difficulty, but isn't it taught in a Brayta that a left-handed person dons phylacteries on his left arm, which is the left arm of every other person? Abaye said, when that Braita is taught, it is referring to one who has equal control with both his hands, meaning an ambidextrous person. Since an individual who uses his right hand, he dons phylacteries on his left arm. Tanu Menachot, al yodcha zuk boyeres, beinecha zukat kohot. Hecha, amri diber b'yanai makom shemoicha yishaltinu k'roifes. The school of Menachot taught with regard to the verse, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your arm, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. Deuteronomy 6:8. On your arm, this is the bicep. Between your eyes, this is the crown of the head. The Gemara asks where exactly on the crown of the head are the phylacteries placed. The school of Rihanna says, the school of Rihanna say Phylacteries are placed on the place where the bone of the baby's brain is soft after birth. Boy minei plimo merebi. Now, plimo is not too common, but I've seen him before. Some rabbis have never. Lately I've seen like these one-timers. Boy minei plimo merebi mishesh lo shnei roshim be'eze mehem meniach tefillin. Ole oikum geli o kabel ach shamta adach yasahu gavra amale ityalidi enoka diisle trereshe kama beda lebetev lakohen atahu sabatanale chayav niteno asaras lahim. Basically what that is, what I just read was the sage Plamo raised a dilemma before Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi. In the case of one who has two heads, on which of them does he don phylacteries? Interesting. A Siamese twin, how do they put on tefillin? Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi said to him, either get up and exile yourself from here, or accept upon yourself excommunication for asking such a ridiculous question. Why is that a ridiculous question? If a person has two heads, it's a valid question. Either get up and exile yourself from here. Like what? What was wrong with asking that? Why such a harsh response? For asking such a ridiculous question. In the meantime, a certain man arrived and said to Yehoshua, a firstborn child has been born to me who has two heads. How much money must I give to the priest for the redemption of the firstborn? Oops. A certain elder came and taught him, you are obligated to give 10 selah. So must the requisite 5 for each head. It was such a bad question. You should be gegolus or be excommunicated? That's harsh. Meanwhile, he was right. How much money must I give to the priest for the redemption of the firstborn? A certain elder came and taught him, you are obligated to give him 10 selah, the requisite 5 for each head. Aini, is that so? שמעני אפילו נתרע בתוך 30. תלמוד לומר, אך חילק שאני הוכו תבגל גוילס תלך מונו. The Gemara says, is that so? Is it really so? Rami Bar Chama teaches, since it's stated with regard to the redemption of the firstborn of man you shall redeem, Numbers 18:15, that would derive that even if he was ravaged, meaning by an animal, within 30 days of his birth, one should redeem him. To counter this, the verse states, top 37b, yet the firstborn of man you shall redeem. The addition of the word yet serves to differentiate and teach that there is a firstborn who is not redeemed, namely one that was ravaged. A child with two heads is like one that was ravaged, as he certainly will not live. The Gemara answers, here it is different, as the merciful one makes the redemption of the firstborn dependent on his skull, as is stated, and you shall take 5 shekels apiece by the skull, Numbers 3:47, which indicates that there is a certain case in which a firstborn with more than one skull must be redeemed. Alright, we'll stop here and continue with the next Amud in the next video.